want to show you the level that, the police department's mentality is at here from this story out of CBS Miami on December 10th. Now, it goes back to December 10th. We're finally just getting this, but more than 24 officers from across Miami-Dade County converged on a blue Volvo that had crashed in the backyard of a townhouse on 65th Street just off of 27th Avenue. As the car was wedged helplessly between a light pole and a tree, nearly a minute passed before officers opened up, firing approximately 50 bullets at the car and the two unarmed men inside the vehicle. Now, earlier, this guy, the driver, had been caught on film in an armed robbery. Okay, and that's what they were after him for. And then, let's see, let me just go on. The two men inside the car survived that initial volley of gunfire, according to witnesses who said they could see the men moving inside the Volvo. Everything went quiet for nearly 2 minutes before the officers opened up a second time, unleashing an unrelenting torrent of bullets that lasted almost 25 seconds. By the time it was over, the two men inside the car were dead. The CBS had learned that a total of 23 officers fired a total of at least 377 rounds. Bullets were sprayed everywhere. They hit the Volvo, other cars in the lot, fence posts, and neighboring businesses. They blasted holes in a townhouse where a 12-year-old dove to the ground for cover, and a 4-month-old slept in his crib. It was like the Wild Wild West, man, crazy, said Anthony Vandiver, who barely made it through the back door of his home before the gunfire erupted. Shooting just wild, shooting all over the place. Bullets could have come through the window. Anything could have happened. They weren't thinking. They weren't thinking at all. Earlier that night, the driver of the Volvo, Adrian Montesano, robbed a Walgreens at gunpoint and then later shot a Miami-Dade police officer, Saul Rodriguez, in a nearby trailer park. Montesano escaped the officer's patrol car, eventually dumping at his grandmother's house in Hialeah before fleeing into the blue Volvo. By 5 a.m., every cop in South Florida was looking for that blue Volvo, intent on catching the man who'd shot one of their own. But what police didn't realize before they started shooting, and I don't know how you would not realize that, there was a second man in the car, Corsini Valdez, who had committed no crime. So they've got an innocent man in there they shot to death. And in fact, CBS News was the first to report both men inside the Volvo were unarmed at the time police caught up with them. Montesano and Velez were killed by dozens of rounds that tore through their bodies. But Montesano and Velez weren't the only ones struck. 2 Miami-Dade police officers were hit as well, caught in the crossfire. One officer was shot in the arm. The second was hit in the arm and grazed in the head. If the bullet had stuck just a half inch to the side, the officer would have been killed. The sound of gunfire was deafening, literally deafening. 2 Miami police officers sustained ruptured eardrums from the cacophony of shots. Let's see, spent the last 5 months here piecing this together according to the story. But the point of the matter is this is evidence that police are not protecting humanity.
No, Walgreens.
They're protecting what? Right.
And ultimately, those 2 men, one of them, an innocent victim, bystander, were not armed when they were gunned down by law enforcement. And these types of things, we've seen this in the past when Al Capone got ruled on. He was working for Anheuser-Busch, which is one of the leading members of the Association of Corporate Counsel, things like that. And these things are just sick.
Let's see, as the smoke cleared and the sun begins to rise, officers drag Montesano and Velez's bodies from the car. Although he appears dead, they decide to transport Velez to Jackson. Slowly, neighbors came out of their homes. The policemen that had on the black and white vests were out there laughing like it was so funny, said one of the neighbors, because they got a free shot off of them people. Shooting all them bullets like that don't make no sense.
Sick.